Thanks so much, Evie. That was such a beautiful way to enter into the room. Thank you, everybody, for being here at the Daily Antidote of Song. Hello to everybody out there on Facebook. We are so excited you've joined us today. And hello, everybody in the room. Super glad you're here to celebrate day 932 at the Daily Antidote of Song. So crazy. It was really fun. I was at the Brooklyn Folk Festival all weekend and ended up, of course, talking about the Daily Antidote Song a lot. And every time I told people we had just passed day 930, it was like their heads got like scrambled and they were like, really? 930 days? So kudos to everybody in this room for all of the amazingness that you've been showing up for day after day after day. I'm so excited you're all here. All right, let's all wave hello to everybody out there on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, for being with us today. And let's give a hand to Katie Abadou for running the tech today, coming in from Maryland. Thank you, Katie. And Evie Layden coming in from California. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oakland.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being here from Oakland, the home of some of our other amazing song leaders, whose sweatshirt I'm actually wearing. There's a little Emma's Rev, a little toss out to Emma's Rev there. Thank you, Evie, for being here today, for being our song leader. So excited to sing with you again today. And hello, of course, to everybody. Hi, Aloysius in Westford, Mass. Hello to Arlene in California. Hi, Jenny in Suffolk, UK. Nice to see you. Hi, Becky in British Columbia. And Deborah in Kentucky. Hello. Pauline in Newcastle, UK, potentially with William over there in the background. Hi, Susan in Ohio. Hello to Nancy. Nice to have you with us today. Kathy in Virginia. Christiana and Bob reminding us it's day 932 coming in from Rockville, Maryland. Hello to Kate in Charlottesville, Virginia. Cricket, hello, coming in from Maryland. Hello, Kim, nice to see you today. And I don't remember where you're coming in from, but we're glad you're here. Hi, Bonnie in Idaho. Hello to Jim, nice to see you again. I don't remember where you're coming in from either. I think maybe Maryland. Hi, Bob in Albany, New York. And hello to Ann in Nashville and Simke in Maryland and Ann in Maryland. And Mabel and One Bear in Massachusetts. Hello and hello. And Carolyn coming in from Boise, Idaho, where it is apparently cold. It is rainy here in the New Jersey, New York area today, but beautiful and warm. Thank you, Carolyn, for being here and for reminding us about what day it is today. Hello to Kathy coming in from the Arapaho and Cheyenne land. And hello to, let's see, Susan Miller in Seattle and Luda in Victoria and Ruth in Birmingham, UK, Storm in Mass, Dan in Virginia. Hello, Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State. Hi to Deli coming in from Maryland, Stephen Michelle in Maryland, Amanda and Miles in Michigan, Sheila in Florida. Hello to Gary in Massachusetts. Hello to Willard, one of the curly tops coming in from Vermont. Hello to Linda in Orcas Island and Julie in Ontario. Carol in Connecticut, hello. Hi, Linda and Dawn in Vermont. That's a curly top papa there. Hello to Sharon and to the iPad with two deer on it, or maybe they're... and Bronwyn and Kevin and Bob and Lynn and Annette and Kate and let's see more folks, Linda and Sandy and Caroline and Hindi. So glad you are all here today. Let's take a big, huge, deep breath. It's a beautiful crowd for a Monday. And Evie Layden has been in this room with us many times. She's an extraordinary musician, clogger, dancer, incredibleness. And we've sung with her a bunch of times in here, lots of traditional stuff. And I'm super excited about what she picked for today. Evie, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you picked?
What I picked, well, in the last couple of weeks, we lost an icon in country music, Loretta Lynn. And growing up, growing up between New York City and Baltimore, believe it or not, I wanted to be a coal miner's daughter. I saw that movie when I was a little girl, and I was just totally swept by it, and have admired her, and especially since her passing, just heard so many incredible stories about her and what a wonderful and generous person she was, in addition to being a really great artist. And several years ago, I came upon, you know what it was? At the beginning of the pandemic, my friend Beth Chrisman in Austin, Texas, did a Queens of Country Music Facebook group that was putting out videos of, like everyone was like, well, let's perform here. Let's figure out how to perform here. Like everyone was stuck at home and couldn't be out performing. So we had Queens of Country Music. And so I dove a little bit into Loretta's catalog, and I found this song that just moved me so much. And it's a duet that she did with Willie Nelson, who's now the last of the old guard, one of the last of the old guard of country music stars, along with Dolly Parton, who's still out there doing it. And it came out in, like, I don't know, 2015 or 16, and there's a really beautiful video of them singing this song, and it's called Lay Me Down.
So thank you so much. Do you can you teach us a little piece of it before we start singing with you? And actually, let's
Yeah.
do one more little teeny sound check, because when you were just banjoing it, it seemed a little loud. So let's do quickly just to test to make sure.
So there's a chorus that goes, is it too loud?
Yeah, a tiny bit. I think pull it down a tiny bit. We're getting a little bit of fuzz. The magic of Zoom.
Yeah. So the chorus goes, when they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. And every verse, I believe, ends with, I'll be at peace when they lay me down. And then the chorus, when they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. I just realized the chords are written in A and I'm playing in G, so apologies because it's morning. So I don't know about quick transposing. It's all 1, 4, 5, and it has that minor 6 in there. And I copied it from a PDF, so it was like hard to change. But I bet those of you who are just singing along will be able to sing along. So the chorus goes right up to that 4 chord. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down.
Woo! Thank you, Evie. Super excited to sing this with you. It's really a very movie song, so I can already feel that it's gonna take me on a little journey. I'm muting. You're up. Thank you so much, Evie.
Oh, should I just sing the song now? Is that where we're at? All right. You have to pardon me. It's early morning here in California. But I raised my head and I set my sail in the eye of a storm, in the belly of a whale. My spirit stood on solid ground, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. Let's sing the chorus. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, when they lay me down. When I was a child, I cried until my needs were satisfied. My needs have grown up pound for pound, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. Well, this life isn't fair, it seems. It's filled with tears and broken dreams. Well, there are no tears where I am bound, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. Chorus. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. Well, I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When I was a child, I cried.
Wow. Thanks, Evie. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So, do you want to talk more about sort of the feelings the lyrics are bringing up, or do you want to talk about Loretta Lynn, or do you want to talk about
Yeah.
your upcoming projects?
Well, this song just so many of the songs, especially post pandemic or whatever it is we are now. It's not over, but we're all, I know people are getting out and about, but I'm sure you all have experienced this thing how, the last few years have sort of erased some just remembering who people are. And when I see people after a long time, I'm like at a loss for names, because I just haven't had that continuity. The continuity has been broken. And there were some blessings about the pandemic, this being one of them. And also I did not mind having a break, to slow down, and like many people, slightly loath to move as quickly as I was. But it's also, it's an opportunity to really assess the things that are really important to you. And, um, you know, especially when you don't see people on a regular basis who are the people you're close with. I had that experience of, I usually go to some regular square dances or Balkan dancing, but without going to those places, are those people my friends? Do I see them during the pandemic? Do we call each other up, or is it just in our social lives that we see each other? And it's just sort of brought the people who are closer in a lot of ways. And then, of course, the experience of not having seen people for a long time. And I shared with Joe that that my favorite uncle just passed away a little young. He was just, I don't know, 74, 72, something like that. And he's in Israel, so I haven't seen him in years, and I will never see him again. And for people like that you didn't get to see because of the pandemic or for whatever reason, it's pretty intense to and especially with social media, you kind of feel like you're seeing people. And how do you express your condolences in a social media post? It's both amazing connective tissue, but it's also it's not as real as being in real time with people. So this is kind of an amazing experience to just kind of sit on that. And um and especially, in folk music, a lot of times there's a multi-generational, but especially an older audience that grew up with all of this folk music and came to it a long time ago. And so some of these songs about just time passing and taking advantage of the time that you have, and being at peace with whatever happens is it's just really present for me, and it's really weighing on me right now, and I'm carrying that with me today. I just when I woke up this morning got news that in Jewish tradition you bury people immediately. So that's that. And he has three daughters, my cousins, that I also don't get to see that often, but I know they're really missing their dad, and it just puts me in mind of the loss.
Evie, thank you for sharing all of that. Everybody, can we please give Evie a hug? There you go, Evie. That's for you.
Thanks.
So much of what you were just talking about, like so far, that was so much that you were just talking about, and you touched on so many of the things I think that probably a lot of people were whirling and swirling through the stuff that you were saying. Sort of the strangeness of how in the pandemic there's like this lost time, gain time thing where you sort of touched on this. Like I feel like one of the things that's become really evident to me is that one of the ways that my brain marked time was through the rituals, whatever the rituals were, the holidays, the birthday gatherings, the festivals that you go to every year, whatever those things were. And without them, my sense of time is completely warped, right? So like I really don't know the difference between 3 years ago or 5 years ago anymore. It's just weird. And then the loss, the people that we lost during the pandemic. And I was just
Yeah.
sharing back with Evie that on Friday I went to my younger cousin's memorial service in New Jersey, and she died recently. So not necessarily during the pandemic, but of course I didn't see her during the pandemic, and so that just strange distance of like being in some ways we spent more time together because we were Zooming and
Hmm.
talking about deep stuff that maybe didn't come up a lot at a family gathering when there's lots of people around. And in the other ways, it's like we were further apart because we didn't hug. And I met Dan and Claudia Zanes this weekend at the Brooklyn Folk Festival. And there was like this big buildup. We were going to meet each other. And when I was sitting there watching them performing before we'd actually hugged, I turned to my friend and said, well, but I feel like I've known them so well for the last 3 years that this actually doesn't feel necessarily like anything, right? And so, okay, I'll confess being wrapped in Claudia's arms was a really beautiful and meaningful thing. But it just does it's not just that it did a weird thing with time, it did a weird thing with this direction too. Right? So
Hmm.
like it all got so strange and challenging and yeah.
Hmm.
Evie, I'm so sorry for you having to experience something hard right now. And it's so beautiful that you can bring that all up in the music and then share it with us. So
Oh,
thank
I
you
feel like
for
that's
everything.
what music is for, and it's on my mind. And honestly, I feel like this space is kind of the place for all of that. And I just want to throw out there, I don't feel like Loretta Lynn overshadowed the passing of Mary McCaslin. It's just that she's much more well known and also had a big impact on me. But I know my dad loved Mary McCaslin's music when I was growing up, and I was fortunate enough to cross paths with her at a regional folk alliance not that long before the pandemic, and I knew um, that she was ill, that she wasn't in the best of health. So I send grace on to all of the people passing and those who are affected by them.
Thank
Happy
you so
Diwali.
much. Thank you, Evie. Folks, let's all take a minute just to send grace on to ourselves and to all of us in this room and those of them out on Facebook. And for the folks who are gone and the folks who are still here and struggling and the folks for whom memory got even more challenging during the pandemic, let's just send it out there for a moment. Thank you, everybody. Evie, do you want to share anything more about what you're up to before we sing again?
Sure. I'm leaving on Wednesday for tour dates in Colorado. If anyone's out in Colorado, I'm going to be playing this is again, like, this might be the end of my 2020 rebookings. I might have finally sort of satisfied all of these contracts, but this was a tour that was booked in 2020. But I'll be in Salida, Colorado Springs, Longmont, and Denver. I'll be doing a singing workshop in Salida and a banjo workshop in Denver, and then concerts with my bandmate Eric Pearson. And then I'm home for the winter, which I'm really excited about because I'm working on a big dance project with my group Motor Dance, with a dozen women. And I dove into this on a previous Daily Antidote with Arne Batson the last time I was on, but the piece is in all body music, so harmony vocals and stepping and clapping and singing, creating rhythms, um, dance performance that is my directorial debut with a full length production. I have been working on big productions over the years, but this is the first one actually since I was 30, since before I moved out to California, that I'm creating this show all on my own with the help of all these women, but kind of in charge of all the pieces. And it's about the breach of the promise of equality, of real equality, both as women in this country, and especially I was raised by a feminist mother, and to be a feminist, and then the things that we still experience in a patriarchal society, especially as we age. It's not that friendly to women, and then also just as a country built on freedom and equality on the backs of enslaved people and Native genocide. And so it's exploring these ideas through the image of, it's called Water in the Kettle, and all of the ways, all of the times that we put water on to boil. And so that's going to debut, and the idea of water boiling, about ideas simmering, coming to a boil. Exactly, whether it's, when you're having a baby, or you're sitting down to talk with a friend, or you're organizing activist expression and sitting down with coffee, there's still work to be done. There's still a lot of work to be done. So that's going to debut the first weekend in February, out here in the Bay Area. And it's a live dance performance, which means you got to be here to see it. So it's one of the reasons I have shied away from producing things like that, because it's so ephemeral. And also, your medium is people, and people are very unpredictable. So if you're in Colorado, I hope to see you this coming weekend. And if you're in the Bay Area or want to come out, I hope to see you at this dance performance, and otherwise, hopefully online in this space as the days go by.
Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. And when you were talking about the water boiling, I was immediately went to the cup of tea that's sitting here that I'm drinking, that gives me strength and is soothing. And the idea that we're drinking in all the ideas and that they're giving us strength. And I just love it. And I can't wait to hear more about how it all goes, and maybe actually be in California for it. I will say, I'm going to direct everybody towards another piece that Evie did in here once, maybe even the first one, and we also watched her video. So I'm actually dropping the link to that in the chat. Ain't No Grave, Gonna Hold My Body Down, which is actually perfect also in the context of everything we're talking about today. And also, I think one of the most stunning, beautiful dance pieces I've ever seen. And when you started talking about your dance thing that you're working on now, I immediately had this desire to be in it. And so this is not actually a request, because I don't move and I'm not good at it, but that Ain't No Grave is just this place where, at least for me, you can imagine yourself making those movements and being in that space, and all of that beauty of the interrelation between the dancers, and the just incredible. So for anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm totally recommending you go out of this room and go and watch Evie's video, and then come back in the room on Facebook Live and watch us again, because today was beautiful.
Thank you.
Evie, do you want to play it again for us?
Sure. Thanks so much to Daily Antidote of Song for keeping this rolling. 932. Well, I raised my head and I set my sail in the eye of a storm, in the belly of a whale. Well, my spirit stood on solid ground, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When I was a child, I cried until my needs were satisfied. Well, my needs have grown up pound for pound, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This old world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. Well, this life isn't fair, it seems. It's filled with tears and broken dreams. Well, there are no tears where I am bound, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This whole world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away. This whole world will turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. And I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When I was a child, I cried.
Thank you. Sorry, Evie, I'm having a hard time finding all the buttons I need to push. Sorry, where am I? I'm here. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Evie. Can we please all give it up for Evie? That was incredibly beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me, as always.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We can't wait to sing with you again. We wish you a lot of luck on your 2 upcoming projects. And yeah, hope we can sing with you again before the holidays or right soon after. Everybody, let's give Evie another hug. Evie's having a tough morning, so we're going to send her some love. And Evie, thank you for making our morning better.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, gang, we're going to roll out here. Let's all wave goodbye to Evie and thank her again. Lots of love, Evie. And we're going to say goodbye to everybody in the room and to everybody on Facebook Live. Thanks, gang, for joining us today. So glad you're here. Hugs, love, and see you tomorrow for another beautiful day.